for my plants, but I also have I have more of a, what do you call those? The ice plant, it, which is an outdoor succulent, because otherwise everything would die. I used to try and grow roses, but nothing would survive when we couldn't use water. So, with all the water rationings, it's ridiculous that we cannot collect rainwater. Ridiculous.
I understood that California isn't isn't really absent water, that there's spring water, but that the spring water is sold. Is that correct?
Say that again, Monica. What water?
The natural spring water. That's what I heard. I hadn't had a chance to investigate it, but that California sells a lot of its water instead of using it for its residents, or making it available to its residents.
Yeah, Brian was explaining that the other day. He said the Dasani and another company got the
Arrowhead.
the water rights. Yeah, there you go.
Right.
One of the things
that's pretty insane. Hey, Adams and Shauna, you guys gonna stick around for a while?
Yeah, I'm off today.
I'm gonna mod you, Adam, because you're my favorite mod. And Shauna, because Brian said he's gonna mod you in this room last night, so I'm gonna mod you. Just don't mod anyone else. I think
Yes,
Kelly
sir.
and,
Loud and clear.
Kelly and Roger don't want to be modded. Kelly already modded. Give me a hand. Thanks, guys.
Roger's been here the whole time. He just hasn't come up.
Yeah, I know. He don't want to be modded anyway, so so everyone who need to be modded is.
So, Shauna, why isn't California moving towards like desalinization? Like, I feel like that would be a large, a good solution, considering.
The gods of Egypt. The Egyptians, like most primitive peoples, were polytheists. Their pantheon was very extensive. We must not fall into the serious error of equating primitive with stupid. On the contrary, the state of Egyptian art, architecture, and astronomy indicate a high degree of intellectual attainment. We are forced to the assumption, then, that there must be more to their polytheism than at first meets the eye. Primitive man did not create the gods, as think so many modern students of comparative religion, who are destitute of all sympathy and religious genius. What primitive man really did, perhaps unconsciously, was to apply names and quasi-human faculties to these powers or great forces of nature, which he so accurately observed and which he believed rightly enough to be manifestations or symbols of the divine. All the thoughts and ideas, all the great learning and knowledge of the Egyptians found their pictorial expression in allegory, parable, and painting. The evidence presents itself simply that these many Egyptian gods, all symbolic of the various creative aspects of divinity, are emergents from a ground of being or Godhead, which perhaps the average person in earlier days could never have conceived, but which was tacitly assumed by the priestly class. The famous Egyptologist Wallace Barge confirms this idea, stating, "The learned understood the meaning of symbols, and paid their adorations through them to the truths of which they were the coverings. This is not dissimilar to the lofty abstract mysticism of Meister Eckhart, which could hardly have been appreciated by, for example, a 13th century German or Italian peasant who angrily might place an image of a saint in a dark cupboard for not having fulfilled the supplicant's wish or prayer. At the head of the Egyptian pantheon soars a God who is one, immortal, uncreated, invisible, and hidden in the inaccessible depths of his essence. So wrote Dr. Marriott Bay in his description of the principal monuments at the Egyptian Museum at Bulaq in Cairo. And he continued, "This God is the creator of the heavens and of the earth. He has made everything which exists, and nothing has been made without him. Such is the God who is reserved for the initiated of the sanctuary." Most of the great Egyptian scholars recognized all the gods of all the pantheons as phases or aspects of this great God. Their religion and their gods must not be judged by the standard of the religion and gods of any later civilized nation. We can only know what the Egyptians thought and believed by reading and studying the texts which they wrote. And a final opinion on their beliefs cannot be obtained until all their religious literature has been published. And Wallace Budge went on to say, "The general outline, however, of their religion is clear enough, and it shows us that they possessed a good practical form of monotheism and a belief in immortality, which were already extremely ancient, even in the days when the pyramids were built." But an abstract impersonal God is far too vague and nebulous, and altogether unsuited to the layman's needs and comprehensions. It is too far removed from his concrete life here and now. So man needs a more intimate personal deity to whom he can relate himself in a meaningful way. As he himself grows emotionally and spiritually, he can discard some of the narrow forms that previously meant so much to him. As to which one of these gods a man originally selects, this has...
That shouldn't even be a dispute. I don't even get how someone's going to police the damn rainwater. No one should have any say-so on what I capture on my property.
Well, it's not a dispute, Hakima. Like, you have people like Kevin Hart, where the city, or the county, I believe it was, put a mechanism on his water usage where it slowed down the amount of gallons per hour, and they just took it off. Like, I mean, you can't. It's like putting a boot on somebody's car. When you're wealthy, you can find somebody to take that boot off.
Well, they did it here, for God's sakes. I mean, they were monitoring people and telling you when you could water your lawn. Then you weren't allowed to water your lawn. You're only allowed to use so much water, and if you exceeded it, you got fined. I mean, California was pretty harsh during droughts. So, yeah. By the way, I'm not going to bring anybody up because I don't know some of these people, but somebody has their hand raised.
Oh, that's Richard.
I did want to mention that Bren was talking about California water the other night, and he said like 40% of the snow water that comes into California every year, 40 to 50% of it is just washed back in the sea because there's not sufficient infrastructure to retain it yet. It has to be, the reservoir system and the piping system is not adequate to save all of it.
Much to do with temperament and basic character, as it has with training and conditioning. A soldier or an aggressive personality would find the worship of Horus, who presides over war, more suited to his structure, while while a sculptor or a poet would certainly feel nearer to Hathor, who is the patron god of the arts. One person may need a warm, loving mother like Isis. Another may need to feel watched over by a stern, testy senior such as Horus.
I'm a consummate gentleman.
Consummate gentleman.
We may consider the Egyptian gods under two broad categories. First, as personifications of the vast creative forces of the universe, and secondly, since man is the microcosm of the macrocosm, as primitive archetypes within the depths of the unconscious psyche. In fact, Dr. Jung has laid down the proposition that since the primordial archetypes function within the unconscious depths of the human psyche, as the gods of olden times were said to have behaved, we might just as well call them gods, for their function is at all times inviolable, immutable, and consistent. That man was fashioned by the gods in the same manner, or on the same pattern as the cosmos itself, of which he is a part, was implicit in all Egyptian religious belief. Throughout many of the rituals in the Egyptian religious texts, many resemblances are made between the anatomies of various of the gods and of man himself. For example, the individual parts of man were placed under the protection of, or better still, were identified with a god or goddess. His hair was said to be the hair of Nui, the sky goddess. His face that of Atum, the solar disk. The eyes.
This checks and balances enough that he's not going to be able to do everything he wishes he could do. But so mentally, yeah, I'm prepared for it. What I'm not mentally prepared for is the potential that he could put 2 more Supreme Court justices in. It could be 7-2. I think that would be really unfortunate for the country because further we go down that route on either end, frankly.
But don't they have to die first?
No, they don't have to die first. No, they can quit. So it, it's theorized that the next president will have two opportunities basically, and so I'm not prepared for it to be 7-2. I think that's really bad for the country. If it was 7-2 liberal, I'd
but
say
if
the
they
same
don't
thing.
quit, he doesn't get the chance to
Yeah,
win
but
anymore.
which 2 would be replaced?
You can Google it. I don't know. I've just heard it I've heard it said multiple times. The next president will likely have 2.
I mean, but he's in fairly good shape, though. He hadn't had like 2.
I don't want to argue about the 2. It's likely the next 4 years there'll be 2. You can just Google what the hell the thought process is. I just go to I know there's some old people who've been in there a long time, so I just figured I'd take it at the face value. But either way, not guaranteed, but let's just say 1. I don't really care. Any more than he already has is problematic for the long-term balance of this country. And we're already seeing some ridiculous things with the government. The court is turning against the large percentage population of the United States with a lot of these decisions that are not in line with what's in the best interest of the citizens as far as we're concerned. That goes for both parties sometimes when it comes to some of these things. And it's only going to get worse if Trump gets any more opportunities to add any more in there. So I don't really give a shit that he would be there for 4 years as a president doing a bunch of stupid shit and benefiting rich people and fucking over the middle class. I mean, I can accept it, I guess. It's only 4 years.
But you're not a fan of the Chevron death precedent, I take it?
Yeah, I have a problem with that one too, yeah.
Chevron definitely has been the law for 10 years. They just made it official. Trump cannot swing the court in any further way. It's already up to 3.
Oh, I get it. He won't swing it.
He'll elongate it.
Two more would be quote unquote swinging it further, okay? Two more would be further. It's already swung.
Yeah, but the liberal justices are younger than the conservative justices.
It wouldn't be like a change. The laws happen to be very in line with the Constitution. It's just that you're so used to activist judges that now they have judges that actually follow the Constitution. It's surprising.
Yeah,
Most of the country is happy.
true.
It's not true that he can swing the court anymore. It's not true that
It's not true that the next president could end up with 2 Supreme Court picks.
That won't
They're not supposed to be partisan, dude. That's the point.
Let me go find an article for you. Since you guys are going to continue to talk about this, because that wasn't even my fucking, that wasn't what
Try to get as many articles as you want.
pushback on. But since I'm going to get pushback on it, let's just go do some logical research here, and I'll
I said something about curiosity, man. Like, there's no like hate or anything like that. We're just like logically.
He's throwing a flag on the play.
Oh, leftist bubble. Pushback, because that's the bubble. So now you're gonna find an article that says the same thing. There we go.
No, I'm just gonna back up what I said about potential for 2 because I know it's fucking fact, and you can sit here and say it's not fact, but you gotta show me something that says it's not likely.
Yeah.
I don't have to disprove a negative. It's
Mike,
fucking
But it's not it's opinion.
I can have an opinion that's different than yours, and also speak to something that I've read multiple times as a possibility, without you pushing back on the one thing that doesn't make you feel good. Fucking
Mike, why do you lie? Don't lie, Mike.
Okay, Mike, it's very simple. I know the Supreme Court well. There are 3 conservative justices, there are 3 liberal justices, and there are 2 that are in the middle. Robert and Kavanaugh are in the middle. The article you're talking about is if Trump wins, then 2 of the conservative justices will most likely quit, and Trump will get to replace them with younger conservative justices. My pushback was that's not swinging the court. That's elongating the court. You can't swing the court anymore because it's already 6-3 in his favor. That's a majority. Listen to the pushback. So whatever article you give me will say the exact same thing. The 2 ones. Okay,
let me rephrase. My concern is that he could extend the court longer, appointing 2 younger justices and entrenching his conservative majority even further. Is that better for you?
Yes, and I join word cheers for that.
Got it. That's what I meant to say. So pardon me for the other thing I said. I actually meant that he was going to entrench it further. I didn't really want to go into details. It was just a fucking generalized statement. But then you came out like a fucking retard. So there we are. Thanks.
The retard.
Mike, I got a question.
If clarity makes you retarded, then I guess I'm retarded.
If clarifying means that you're going to try to reposition what I'm saying as inaccurate, what I'm saying is largely accurate, it's just not specifically what you're trying to point out, then yes, you are fucking retarded!
Wait, largely, but not specific?
You could have just said yes to that right from the beginning.
Where was all this energy before when we needed a candidate to defeat Trump? You just threw in the senile old man, and now suddenly you're remembering.
I can't help you, the Democrats are giant pussies, dude.
Everyone's retarded because you're abusing the elderly.
I cannot help you with the fact that the Democrats are giant pussies. That's something I have no control.
Mike, are we living in the prophecy of Agnes that's going to save the country from the stupid voters electing the dangerous man?
Wrestler.
Nobody's going to save the country from a dangerous stupid man being elected this year. Unfortunately, nobody's going to save the country from either stupid, dangerous man being elected this year. Thanks.
Yeah, well, our founding fathers had the president appoint justices. It doesn't mean that they get to sway the whole judicial branch of the government. What they didn't intend is to have a puppet president. They want the will of the people.
That's not so true.
Oh wow, man! Like that I didn't thought that was kind of tacit pushback. I didn't think that was like a major point to draw that much frustration.
George Washington was a little bit of a puppet president.
Huh?
Yeah, he was a general. He was there because he was great with the military, but he wasn't for political prowess.
He was bringing some good energy to the room, though, Mike. He's trying to
That was some good energy.
I tell you, one senile old man, you put him up for president, suddenly everyone loses their mind.
Breakdown?
Man, that was actually really impressive, man. I was like, I didn't go through the Chevron deference because it tended to show where people were sometimes. And I'm sorry, I don't like unelected officials.
No one's noticing that one, but
your brain is like silly Second Amendment like challenges now, or even the medical stuff. Like it would actually like through the whole COVID regime.
Yep. They're gonna have to start from zero.
Okay, but who is going to follow Trump after he leaves? Is it gonna be his?
Oh, get out of here. Americans can't think 4 years in advance. They can barely think 4 years into the past.
They're thinking fast.
No, they don't. They
Who's
remember
gonna
the last-
guarantee that Trump's legacy goes on?
You know what? He said, you know how they've been talking about a lot of his youngest son.
Byron?
Yeah, they've been saying
Yeah,
that.
I love Byron. He's amazing.
Byron Ross, 2024.
No, because he's not old enough yet. That actually makes sense that they would pick Donald Trump Jr. and then from Donald Trump Jr. down to Barron.
I don't like this.
That would be wild.
Byron, and he looks like Trump. He looks
I'm not for the celebrity or the monarchy by royal birth.
And then we can finally
Mike,
have
what
Jeb
do you
Bush.
think? What do you think if after Trump Jr. gets in?
That'd be cool.
Because he does such a good job.
Trump Jr. is a fucking stupid ass redneck.
Wait,
so
yes,
that would be
Mike.
very good for him.
I love that for you. But I love it for us even.
He's a redneck?
Yeah, he's the
My
redneck one.
boyfriend's a redneck. What's wrong with that?
No, I would see him more
He's
as
the
a
one
city
that Trump
guy.
sends out to truck rallies. So what Trump does is he sends Ivanka out to meetings, or he did back when he was president. He sent Ivanka out to meetings. Had to be impressed, so she'd be there for eye candy. And then his other son Eric would run his businesses. So he was like the CEO of his businesses while he was president. And then Trump Jr. or Don Jr. was the guy he sent out to the redneck truck rallies, who would like fucking rally up the KKK members and like get all the bad people, all the fucking people that we know that support Trump. So, well, Don Jr. handles all those ones. So putting him in president.
So you're just mad that Trump's a better political.
No, I'm mad that he's
You're mad that he
support of white
plays and y'all
supremacists.
play checkers.
No, I'm mad that he accepts the support of white supremacists.
Like Robert Byrd.
Yeah, like that.
Wait, did Biden
Richard
renounce
Spencer? Oh, wait.
Fuentes? So Nick Fuentes supported Biden in 2020. Did you ever see one clip of Biden opposing that?
But in his defense, he had no idea what was going on because he's seen it.
That is a good offense.
Yep.
I guess you stand with her.
It's not like that was ever literally his defense. Oh, wait, hang on.
Hey, actually, heard this morning that they're going to release that where they're going to file a FOIA request to release the recordings of that particular meeting. It's basically like a deposition with Biden and
They're really just taking it straight to the press. This is getting worse and worse.
Hey, that guy is vindicated now. He was pummeled after he released that thing saying he wouldn't be juries would not find him. Yeah, juries would not be very, very difficult to convict him.
And then they're like they got all these supercuts of how confident and how strong and sharp he is, and I'm like, oh my god, man, this is crazy. Like even Morning Joe had to do the ceremonious U-turn on the talking point that he had just like a couple weeks ago. He's sharper than he's ever been. I'm like, what? All right, whatever. Don't believe your lying eyes, fakes. Well, you know, I got to go back and forth with somebody online. Go figure, right? And I just asked the question. I said, hey, because this person was like super against the whole Chevron difference, right? And I was like, is there a case where you can think of where this may be a good thing, where it may actually go in, certain people's favor? And this person couldn't even handle that small hypothetical.
Somebody mod me so I could boom the room.
Nice.
Hey, Issa, why do you got that Indian woman on your picture?
Rest in peace. You do realize why Hillary lost, right? I mean, a lot of people hate Hillary. There's a lot of people even on the left that don't like her for her attitude. People that worked with her, I personally have first knowledge that worked with her, and she was in New York, and it wasn't pretty. There's a lot. So, if it were Michelle, different story. Hillary is just not someone that would work, but they brought someone else in, and Michelle or whatever, it'd be a lot different. But I don't think Hillary would have a prayer. Michelle would have a lot better shot just doing it on her own.
What if they switched it and put Michelle at the head and put Hillary as vice?
Michelle would be scared to death that she would commit suicide.
Oh no.
Michelle doesn't want to be in politics. I don't know why people keep trying to drag Michelle.
I know, we keep trying to get rid of her.
Yeah, she's not even a politician. She's just married to one. Like, that's.
Hey, but Adam, throughout history, people have said they're not interested in next year they run. So I get what you're saying, that she's probably not interested, but that's a big job, and a lot of people, whether they like it or not, still would love to be president. So.
But Hakima, many of those people that you're offering as a point of comparison were already politicians. Okay, Michelle Obama is not a politician. She has no desire to be in politics. She's made that very clear.
Have you guys heard any? Have you guys paid attention to Dr. Shiva at all? And a lot of people say, oh, he wasn't born here, but he's got a lot of constitutional knowledge, and he studied it very well and proven that, with the different amendments, that there's no such thing as a second-class citizen, blah, blah, blah. And it's very interesting to listen to him, but the man is smart. I think he'd be great. He's, I think, a great no BS kind of guy, but you just can't get the footing in this system the way it's set up. So, I mean, I think we've had some decent people try to run. You just can't get footing.
You think Newsom is too liberal to win the election at this point?
He's too
So
drunk.
here in Florida, I'll just tell you that people that came here from Silicon Valley, from San Francisco, admittedly left. And they left California because of what it became. And they literally said, don't worry, guys, to change. We're not going to vote the same way. We lean left, but we don't want that. We left for a reason. So you're having a lot of people who aren't real happy. California people might love him, but I think there's a lot of the country who sees what's going on in California and not a big fan of it. So I don't know that Newsom would be. I think he's well spoken. He comes across very intelligent. I just think if you look at the issues there, that's where it would hurt him the most. I don't know why Manchin didn't try running. Think about it. Manchin would pull the middle vote, have a chance at pulling the ones who weren't Trump supporters but are conservative. The fact of he can say it, he could let them both argue about the debt, and he'd be like, wait a minute, if it weren't for me, you guys would have ran up another $9 trillion in debt with what you wanted in your COVID spending. So hush and let me be the adult in the room, because he had to be. And he wanted to cut it more, but he realized that his party wasn't going to allow that. So he got it to wherever it was. What was it, $3 trillion? It shows that he's fiscally responsible. His state is purple, so he knows how to appease both sides. I just think that he would have been, and if you listen to him speak, he's always very professional, very courteous. He doesn't get into the degrading of each other. And to me, I would love to see all our politicians that way. Show respect to each other and argue point respectfully. And that's where Manchin is.
I think that California's biggest problem in how we ended up with Newsom was that stupid nonsense that Meg Whitman did. And that's specifically the reason why I did not vote for her, regardless of whether she was a Republican or not. Because having illegal immigrants up in your house working like that's just completely unacceptable.
Did I just hear someone say Manchin will win a Dem primaries? Manchin will not even win 3 states, maybe West Virginia. He won't win Maryland. You don't know what to say. I'm sorry. He's not going to win.
If Manchin were to debate anybody on the Democratic stage, he would have destroyed it. If he were to debate Biden, it would have been 20 times worse than what it was with.
again, this is not, I don't know if you follow Democratic primaries or your party member. Manchin can never win a damn primary. He can't even win the elections in his home state right now. So I don't know what you're bringing up. Manchin is too centrist for the left and too moderate for the centrists. I don't know what you're talking about.
And if you look at the polls, most of the people are going to the middle from both parties. Okay, so the difference is you put him on a stage with those two, and it is a whitewash with the both of them. Okay, the guy he's far better spoke. He's more intelligent. He could talk facts. He could talk numbers. He can talk about what he's done with both sides. Show me where Biden's worked across the aisle. Show me where Trump has worked across the aisle. I can't. But there's so many people from the left and the right that are sick of the left and the right. And what you're talking about is a polarized left and a polarized right. And I think everybody in here is about sick and tired of that. So give us an option that's actually pretty decent. And guess what? You have a force to be reckoned with. I guarantee it. Okay. So you want to say he can't win a primary? Hold on. Let me finish. You say he can't win a primary. Yeah, because the primary is rigged. Okay, the whole setup is rigged. People want to change Biden. If you want to change Biden right now, you chose not to have a debate. That's your fault.
I mean, you're not a Democrat, so you're making a stupid point. Hold on, let me finish, Brent. Manchin cannot win a primaries. Nobody likes Manchin in the Democratic Party. So it's not what you think or how you feel about it. Manchin, and this idea that primaries are rigged is just silly. Primaries are rigged only when you...
We're past primary.
Okay, but
we're talking about presidency.
So
Manchin is still not going to win.
Odie, hear me out on this. One of the things that we really need to stop doing is examining these possible candidates that are approaching 80. Okay? That's how we ended up in this situation, by having no generational representation in the people who are leading us today.
How old is Manchin?
He's in his 70s.
He's
I mean,
77.
so the previous speaker said, "Show me where Biden has worked across the aisle." Can we say Inflation Reduction Act? Can we say?
Let me answer that question, Brent.
Can we say, the debt ceiling deal? Can we say, multiple times Joe Biden has worked across the aisle? I think the problem with Joe Biden is he looks like a corpse. And he is looking further like a corpse as time goes on. And I personally hope he steps down. If he doesn't, I'll still vote for him. But don't kid yourself. The Democratic Party has a deep and vast bench. I mean, Josh Shapiro would obliterate Trump, as would Gretchen Whitmer, as would a lot of possible Democratic nominees. And I hope eventually Joe Biden does the right thing and pulls out before the convention.
All that money they've raised, if Biden does pull out, you get it. It probably hasn't pulled in a while. Anyways, if he does pull out of the race, all that money they've raised has to sit there. They can't use it. You cannot use that money for another campaign, which is interesting. I didn't know that until today. So
that's actually not true. I mean, it would go in the hands of Kamala Harris, and Harris could use it. I believe Harris could make essentially transfer it to another candidate if she so chooses.
You can't transfer now. If it went to Kamala Harris, I'm not sure. I don't think Kamala Harris is going to be the pick. But I'm
not saying she's the pick, but it's the Biden-Harris campaign. If the top of the ticket immediately removes himself, the next person that is running for a constitutional office will have control of that money.
You can't. It's against the law. That money was
that's what the DNC told donors this morning would occur, and I'm happy to post the article on that.
Please do, because I might be hit. I'm wrong more than I am right. So yeah, I'm gonna get on the Google machine and see what it says. That's what Ben Shapiro said today. That you cannot, the money's not transferable to another campaign. It just sits there.
You cannot keep listening to Ben Shapiro, Matt.
Oh, Ben Shapiro.
You think Steve Bannon is the greatest thing that's ever walked the surface this morning.
God bless his heart. He's in prison right now. And it's so sad for him.
Okay, y'all can sit here and laugh, but at 3 a.m. Max time, he woke up, came in this room, and told us all that he thinks Steve Bannon is misunderstood and is the greatest thing ever. And we had to explain to him why he doesn't have immunity, because he was not part of anything to do the president.
To clarify what I said I said, yes, I think that he's brilliant. I think he's he went to West Point. He's a very, very smart person. Most importantly, he's probably the reason, he's a huge factor of why Donald Trump is in office. Was with the president, because of the decisions that he made from the top. That is anybody's guess, but I think that's a big factor. One of the many factors, but a big factor of why he won the presidency.
Did you say he's the most smartest guy because he went to West Point?
Who went to West Point?
Steve Bannon went to West Point. I think
he did not go to West Point.
West Point. Where did Steve Bannon go? I thought he went to
Nope, he went to Virginia Tech, Georgetown, and Harvard.
But I'm glad you think I'm so smart.
You are intelligent. Steve Bannon College. He went to West Point, or maybe his dad went to West Point.
I gotta say that, and I'm not even gonna go on the Google machine, but the way Adams just listed those off so quickly, I think he's probably right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I say this to my wife daily, morning, afternoon, and night. You're right. I'm wrong. I'm sorry. What's yours is yours, and what's mine is yours.
No, it's okay. It wasn't a gotcha moment. My uncle taught at West Point, so I wasn't gonna, put that on them. But yeah, he did.
Yeah, but
he did not go.
You knew all three schools at the top of, like, at the tip of your tongue.
Yeah, which
so
is pretty damn good. But I do think he was if there's 5 different factors of why Trump is in office, he would be one of those 5 factors. I mean, he was the reason why he got the 5 women sat down and had the conference before the debate. He was the reason why those 5 women sat down. I mean, by the pussy tape came out. He was the reason why they also attended the debate. So there's just a lot of, anyways, pretty interesting. Again, frontline, Steve Bannon, use the Google machine, the YouTube machine, and it's a fascinating interview. It really takes you behind the scenes of the Trump campaign of 2015 and 2016. It's really fascinating 2-hour interview.
Matt, while I respect your outlook on that, I wouldn't vote for him for the fact that he does not look like he takes care of himself, and he looks like he's about to have a heart attack any day.
You know what? I think about that same thing.
Matt.
He doesn't give a shit.
Akima, you're in the Matrix.
Did I get the Google machine? I use the Google machine. I think I got that from you, Sean. Using the Google machine. I used to say that all the time now.
Well, that came from Barth, aka who's now Steve again. So, that's where it came from.
Got it.
In that horrible Southern accent of his. And now I actually say, I even said that to clients. That's how bad it is.
Well, we'll see. It's the transferable defense. I'm gonna use the Google machine. Look at that real quick.
So those of you in the audience, if you want to raise your hand and come up, please do. And hey, Gabs.
It says it right here. It says it right here on the Google machine. If a presidential candidate dropped out of the race, they would first need to repay all their campaign vendors. And if the campaign ended before the party's conventions where they officially select the nominee, they would have to refund all contributions designated to be used in the general election. After that, Biden and Trump could try to use, this is if they dropped out, They could try to use any leftover money to support their party's new candidate, but campaign finance laws only allow them to transfer $2,000 directly to another federal campaign. So the vast majority of their 8-figure war chest would need to be given to other groups like political parties or PACs. It should be a complicated process. So, yeah, they wouldn't. They'd have to transfer that money back. So I'm 1 out of 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they told. Essentially, if he withdraws, Harris controls the money, and then you can't give it to another candidate, but you could still possibly use some of it. I mean, money's not the key determinator of elections, or at least isn't, or typically isn't. I mean, if there were another Democratic nominee, theoretically, they would have enough money to run a national campaign.
I just don't. After watching people on the interwebs today, because that's the most trusted source of news. I'm kidding, but just out of reading and watching a lot of stuff today, I think he's all in. I don't think he's going to back out, because I just think it would be.
He's not backing out.
Yeah, in my opinion.
I told you that at 3 a.m. your time. Backing out because it had already been reported.
I mean, we are only a day into this. The polls are looking worse. It just got reported that the DNC is trying to move up the actual official nomination of him, which they were going to do it, which they had to nominate him early because of Ohio anyway. So that'll force the issue. So declaration, like declaring he won't back out, I don't think he'll back out. I mean, I would still give it about a 10% to 15% probability, but given how bad that performance was, I still think it's possible.
Well, everything that's being reported from Camp David is that he adamantly is not. He doesn't want to. Jill doesn't want him to.
Yeah,
his family doesn't
as
want
I
him
said,
to.
we're only 2 days into this, and the national polls are just starting to drop. So we'll see what happens.
I don't think the polls are going to sway Jill and him and family, but that's just.
Well, then his legacy is Ruth Bader Ginsburg #2, and somebody needs to tell him that.
Yeah, but she held on. So the bottom line is Jill said it. She said it proudly. He answered all the questions. She is proud. She sees him as still a great candidate. I don't see Jill trying to talk him out of it. It's already said that Hunter is talking him out of it, is trying to talk him out of that, or it's said to be. So, who knows where this stuff is being, coming from. But, I don't see how they can back it. He can back out at this point. I mean, he walked through the primaries. He was 90-some% in all the states. He walks out now, and it really makes a mockery of the system.
So Trump could shoot himself in the foot. He lost to Biden because of a mistake he made in the first month of his campaign against Hillary. Insulting John McCain on national television was what cost him Arizona, which cost him the election against Biden. He could shoot himself in the foot. Did you guys hear him saying he's going to a convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and said that's a horrible city? Can you picture the stupidity? He's got the political mind of a slug. He could blow his election. So Biden is probably going to stay the course. And I understand if Trump adds Doug Burgum, who's an incredibly appealing and intelligent Midwesterner with all kinds of street creds, and he's made hundreds of millions of dollars, it would be a very smart move, but I don't see that he's smart enough to do it. I'll leave it at that.
Richard, hold on 1 second. Trump talks about California all the time, but it doesn't stop him from running to Newport Beach to collect millions of dollars in donor money. So I think that people need to understand that the man is a politician. He's entitled to his opinion, and I think that just because he criticizes a said place does not mean that he can't be a benefit and a value to improve that place, even along his points of criticism.
You are not countering my statement. He made a mistake. Why?
Part of that. It's not. I mean, this whole thing is not real. It's just.
But
Yeah, I know.
YouTube
It's just queer marketing.
YouTube 1.0 though was that already, but then they did the purge, and they started getting rid of people because they weren't as marketable. Hell, like I used to get home from work, and like freaking Alex Jones was on at fucking 4:30 Central every day on YouTube, making a boatload of cash. In fact, he was even on The View.
I don't see it.
Yeah, he was a regular guest. And then like people like Stefan Molyneux, all this stuff, they started doing these little purges and getting rid of certain of these personalities because they weren't good for the quote unquote marketing. And then this is the rise of that whole woke culture that led to the Jordan Peterson. So by the time they had already kicked off most of these people, the international dark web people were like much, much later than that.
I like Weinstein a lot, but he stopped.
Yeah, I really did. I watched the documentary when he was at Evergreen where he was getting kicked off the campus.
That's Brett Weinstein. I like.
Oh, Brett, my bad.
But I was talking about his brother. I like him too. Eric talks a little bit too, like he'll call like a shovel, like the metal pointy thing that digs dirt out of the ground. Like he talks a little too much. Like you could have said it much simpler. But he still has a lot to say. He's a very intelligent guy. But he stopped doing the portal. He did like 10 episodes, and that's it.
He used to come to our rooms.
Yeah, he used to come once in a while. Yeah.
Do you want the controversial take now about the IDW?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's hear the Sam Harris take.
Are you sharing? Oh, Sam Harris is a retard. It's okay. I told him it wasn't his fault because there's no such thing as free will on Twitter, and he blocked me. Yeah, it's about selective honesty to disarm people and distract them, because none of them ever raise the real question about who influences things and who.
Oh,
So it's
serious?
yeah. So it's like fucking half of them are Jews controlling influential Gentiles.
Wow, it's amazing.
Who coined the term? Who coined the term?
Which term?
Okay, listen.
Intellectual dark web. Who came up with this ridiculous bullshit term? I know.
T, do you ever feel?
Who is Ben Shapiro?
Yeah, he's a Jew.
What origin does Sam Harris come from?
Well, he's half Jewish. But T,
such a thing?
Yeah. What about the yes?
And what about his brother, Brett Weinstein? But he married a non-Jew, so I don't know what you want to do with that.
But does that make him not Jewish?
Dave Rubin's Jewish too.
Fuck.
Of course. No. But it makes his children not Jewish. But anyway, T.
Well, he's gay, doesn't have children.
He adopted two.
No,
Yeah, the
Brett-
boys, but like
no,
doesn't make
and
sense.
they're always boys. Brett Weinstein's children. You asked if it makes it. You're an idiot. T. I have a
Why the
question
fuck
for
are you bringing up their children when I'm talking about
Because you asked
handling
me
some of the most
Brett
I'm talking about. You see, you're distracting. This
No,
is a
you're an
fucking
idiot.
misdirection. Okay,
Oh my
you're a
God.
fucking idiot, bro.
Is Joe Rogan
This is more misdirection.
Is Joe
You're just trying
Rogan a
to
Jew?
take away from the fucking.
Is Joe
Who-
Rogan a Jew?
Who's talking about their
no,
children?
no, no.
What have their children got to fucking do with the
Okay,
price
is
of bread?
Joe Rogan a Jew, Tim?
He's not
That's the
Jewish,
point.
no.
It's
Joe
about
Rogan's not Jewish.
handling
he's
the
part of
most
the intellectual
influential
narrative.
fucking
He's
people.
being manipulated by Dave Rubin and Ben Shapiro. Aren't you listening?
Yeah,
I have a
exactly.
question
Is
that I
Bob
wanna-
Murray a Jew?
T, I have a question.
Like
that
the
I wanna
most
bring-
fucking pro-Zionist fucking one.
But he's not a Jew.
That's the point. Neither's. Oh my God, you didn't get it in the beginning.
Dude, being a Zionist, I mean, I also defend Israel, and I am not a fucking Jew. Are you going to imply that I'm getting
T, I have a
my
question
emails
that I
every
want
day?
T, I have a question here from the board, from the elders of Zion. I'm supposed to ask you. Do you ever feel really stupid by being manipulated by a tiny minority of people? Like your entire life is controlled by like 14 million
Who
people?
said I'm manipulated?
You said that you don't have a
No, I don't know. I never
I
said
said
I
it's
was
armed.
manipulated, bro. I
You
never.
told me you don't live with your nuclear family because of the Jews.
Hey, wait,
Like,
wait,
you
wait,
should
hold
feel
on.
stupid.
That's not what the fuck I said. You
Wait, hold on.
I have like 10 witnesses.
Wait, hold on. If we
Were they all
extrapolate this though,
He's a very
ultimately,
weak man who is being
For sure.
manipulated by the Jews, the blacks, and the women.
yeah, but check this out. Check this out. We extrapolate that very sentence. All mankind has been manipulated by a tiny minority of people. And I'm not even going to the Jew thing.
Wait, so
Yeah, but that,
do
you
you?
know what, Carson? In that I agree with you. I do believe.
Oh, but you can't say
Hold
the
on,
little
I
hats,
do
bro.
no, I do believe that there are certain elites that have interests that can influence how the world goes and policies and all of that. Now, from that to saying it is the Jews is a very big jump, Tim.
I know they'll
And
call
again,
them the
I am
globalists.
talking about
They'll call them
a
everything,
lot of
but they'll
very
never
powerful
call them.
people, and I always bring up these names.
Who's
What about
Klaus
the
Schwab?
Rockefellers? What about the Rockefellers? They're
What
fucking
about Klaus
Christian.
Schwab? Is he Jewish?
Yeah, because he's the most influential man on the planet.
Well, he
He's
is
a
one of the most
globalist.
influential men.
He's just a
He's just
distraction.
anti-Semitic as fuck. Like,
No,
What,
just
because
weird.
I've got eyes and ears and I trust my ancestors?
no, it's the way you talk
Your
about
own
all
I trust my
Jews.
ancestors.
The way you talk about
I
all
trust my
Jews.
ancestors.
It's really,
You're just a
really
sad
fucking-
little man. I actually started to feel bad for you.
Anti-Semitism is trusting what my ancestors said about Jews.
What did your
and what
ancestors
Jews
tell
said
you?
about my
Right.
ancestors. Okay.
No one talked about your ancestors. You're an irrelevant Irishman. Nobody cares about that.
Okay.
Nobody. That's the problem.
Okay.
You're irrelevant.
That's why we
for
kicked them out of
1,000
the country
years.
for 350 years. Why
You're
did
not
we kick
British,
them out of the
dude.
country for 350 years?
You're not British, dude. You're an Irish.
Of
You're
course not.
colonized. You're a colonized Irish.
Okay, try to smear me harder, bro.
Would you like a potato?
Sarah, do you have still your Telegram?
Sarah's more British than you are.
Bro, you're a fucking retard. I've served in the British military, you dumb fuck.
You were drafted as a colonist. So
Okay.
who were the first ones?
Okay. Go put your little hat on, bro. Have you got your little hat on? Okay.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay. Amazing.
Yes, I do. I hope it gets you angry. I hope it makes you not sleep.
No, it just makes you more obvious, bro. That's obvious.
Who?
That's
Good. I want to be obvious. I'm very
Obvious about
opposed
what?
to
Do
you.
you think that Meyer controls the world?
I'm
Who
very
the fuck said this?
I'm very proud of my ancestry, unlike you. I have to pretend that you're British when you're not.
For sure.
Well, you
Yeah,
know
so
what?
you've been kicked out of 100.
Meyer-
No. You've been kicked out of 109 countries.
You know what?
I'm actually proud of that too.
Meyer's even controlling my dreams.
Come on, you said 100. You've been kicked out of 109 countries,
I
right?
want to make it 120.
Okay. Would you tell us why you've been kicked out?
Yeah,
They never tell you. See, they tell you
Yeah.
what happened.
Should
but
I
never
tell you why? Should I tell you
Never
why?
tell you why.
Should I tell you why? You ready?
Oh man, everyone
You
else is
sitting down?
jealous of God's
Are you
chosen
sitting
people.
down? Are you
Yeah.
sitting down?
It's those
Because
noses.
losers
We're
like
all
you-
so.
Are you gonna let him
Are
speak?
you sitting down?
Okay,
Losers
blow my
like you-
mind.
Losers
Blow my
like you
mind.
need a scapegoat.
Blow my mind.
Like you're doing right now.
Yeah, I need a scapegoat for,
Because you have a miserable, pathetic
Or you're
life.
in a
bro, I don't even know a Jewish person in real life.
You blame Dave Chappelle.
I live in a 96% fucking ethnocentral fucking state, which you could only wish to live in.
I'm very happy about
Oh, really?
I'm not the one blaming
Well,
you.
that's not what
It's my
Israel
problems.
wants, bro.
Yeah, we should
I'm
have
not
open
the-
borders for Israel, just like what's going on here in the United
Yeah.
States. Yeah.
Yeah, we should be advocating for black
Open
men to
borders.
marry Jewish women.
Why Israel shouldn't have open borders with Palestine, Egypt, and Jordan? All
Yeah.
the surrounding countries.
Race mixing for Jews.
What's going on?
We're hearing
We're trying to diversify the, God's chosen people.
Open borders for Israel.
So who's voting blue no matter who?
everyone
Retards.
should.
That's not.
It is quite funny the amount of people in the chat I saw earlier were like agreeing with the title, not realizing it's sarcasm.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
now
reason
what
why
if
I
you
have my PTR, so that people realize it's not true.
What if you had written vote Jew no matter who?
Ooh.
Oh, we can put that. Do you like that, Mike?
Oh, that's a good name.
Well, given AIPAC supports both sides, that is what's happening.
It's amazing. I mean, it's just exhausting having to go always to the exact same type of argument.
Well, that's because the facts don't change.
Can't you come up with some other reason why your
The
life is
facts don't
miserable?
change, Ethan.
Why your life is miserable?
It's
Does it have
history.
to
Like,
be
I don't know what to. I don't know what to tell you. It's a fact. That's why it doesn't change. Oh, besides the 6 million figure, which gets downturned to 4 million and then 1.5 million, that changes over time. That's funny, but very convenient.
That's been so thoroughly debunked. The fact that you bring it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, railway. Yeah, railway.
Really? So
Really?
they actually haven't changed the plaque in. It wasn't Auschwitz. It was one of those, and they changed the estimate. They changed the estimate down from 4 million to 1.5 million. That's not being debunked. That's a fact.
1.5.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
He's an idiot.
That's a fact.
How
That's a
sad are
fact.
you?
Okay.
Hey, Rob, listen, I'll go look it up if you want.
I don't know anything about the numbers. Where are
You
these
see,
numbers
but
coming from? Hold on. Where are these numbers coming from?
Let me go and look it up.
Where are you taking these from?
I'm going to go and fucking look it up. I'm going to bring you the fucking receipts.
Okay, as long as it's not from like Nick Fuentes.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, cry harder.
Yeah, I don't take Nick Fuentes or Tate as a reference.
Okay.
Or Stormfront. I don't take Stormfront as a reference.
Oh, really? Dealy
I don't know what
Stormer, you mean?
Stormfront is. I don't know
Dealy
what that
Stormer.
is.
Or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you get their website deleted?
Oh, you talking about the Fed organization, Patriot Front?
Something like that. I don't know what the fuck you. You're not talking about Dealy Stormer?
No, is that what Ewan was referencing? That's obviously a Fed operation. I hope you don't think that's.
I was talking about I think there was a website back in the day called Stormfront.
I'm pretty sure it's called Dealy Stormer because controversially Cloudflare, who was the DNS provider.
It wasn't a news organization. It was a forum.
Well, maybe there's two of them then. Who the fuck knows? Anyway, I would actually pay money to watch let Issa every clip in this tweet thread and live stream her reactions. How much? Can we crowdfund this? How much did Issa have to watch about 15 minutes of video clips?
What?
How much do we have to raise to get Issa to watch about 15 minutes of video clips in a tweet thread, which is the most kind of well-cited example?
Okay, send it, but I want to.
Are you
I
sure?
want to see what.
Oh, listen, you can watch it with your own eyes. And of course, they just imprisoned
we're
this
not gonna
man.
play here a 15-minute.
What is it called? The Jewish Defense League burnt out his fucking house, who then later acknowledged as a fucking terrorist organization by the FBI. Just real stand-up shit happened.
Post it in the chat. I will
No, I'm
share
not.
it with my.
I'm not. I'm going to send it to you directly.
Okay. Well, I'll share it with Maya and we can watch it together.
And they can refute all these all this testimony that happened in court in Canada in the late 80s. Was it amazing? 1988, I believe. Let me see.
Just for everybody in the room, this is what happens when you go way too far down rabbit holes.
Okay. How would you know unless you've been down it? Death reduced to 1 million by Krzysztof Lecki in Warsaw and something in Tel Aviv. Poland has cut its estimate.
How are you able, or how are they able to lower?
It's a fucking newspaper clipping. It's a fucking newspaper clipping.
How are people after the fact, years later, able?
This is like when you're
to
watching a
agree
movie
now? Oh my
and
God.
the chick beside you interrupts you to be like, "Hey, what's happening?" How about just let it happen? I was reading the fucking newspaper clipping, which is in the goddamn tweet thread. Okay.
It was a plaque. Now it's a newspaper clipping, and it's still.
Sure. Well, this is the first thing I've found, but right. Okay. I can go on and find the fucking granite plaque as well.
Next thing you know, it'll be a thought.
For
Do you
sure.
want the links, Sarah? Yes, please.
I hope you can all. Hey, listen to me. I hope you all debunk this.
I kind of wish it was true. If you can wake up
Here you go.
100,000 people, that's
Originally,
great.
the plaque read, 4 million people suffered and died here at the hands of the Nazi murderers between the years of 1940 and 1945. Today, it appears to say, it's quite low resolution, I'll find another clip of it, which says, forever let this place something, a cry of despair and a warning to humanity where this something, Nazi murderers murdered about 1.5 million. They changed it from 4 million to 1.5 million in Auschwitz and Birkenau.
Okay, but how are they changing these figures?
Listen to me. This is the fucking camp themselves that have to change the fucking plaque. I am not making an assertion why. I'm just letting you know that it happened. You can listen to me. You can ring up the fucking camp, okay? They do tours, and you can ask them why they had to fucking change the number, okay? How about that?
Yeah, they didn't.
Okay.
I'm looking at the original
really?
number. Yeah,
Okay.
They didn't. Look at you. Show me an old number. Show me a new number.
Dude, I'm gonna get the 2 photos of the fucking plaques, bro.
I'm gonna have to go and check it myself.
Back in time?
Oh no, I thought you said that they had to change it now.
No, it's already been changed. It's been changed a long time ago. But at one point in time, it said 4 million at this camp, and then now it says 1.5, which is also fucking ridiculous. But
is it maybe because it takes decades to, I don't know, properly investigate a genocide of millions of people?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, so there's nothing to do with the fact that you have to tag every single person,
How can they tag them when they're
investigate every
allegedly they were all burnt in fucking crematoriums, bro?
Yes, but they know how many were taken away, and they know how many died.
How did they know that?
Well, dude, because they were citizens.
That's interesting.
There were citizens, and I'm sure that there are records of who disappeared, who was taken, who didn't come back.
Okay, the original plaque seems to be
exactly
photographs.
birth certificate.
There's a photograph and a time. There's a photograph and a date of it from 1967, and let's have a look and see if the new one is currently still there.
This is so unhinged, man. Birth certificate.
It's unhinged.
How do you say when they do count the people in a city? Census.
Sure.
Do you think that nothing of this existed? It was a jungle?
So if if anyone wants to know what actually happened was, according to the historians from the very beginning, the number 6 million included 1.1 in Auschwitz. That was always the number to get to 6 million. The Russian historians counted a few days, and Auschwitz went on and off of speed. Like when they were murdering all of Hungary, they were at a much faster speed, but that only lasted about 6 months. Russians took that, extrapolated, and made the plaque for 4 million. No historian ever considered that a real number, and it was actually historians that asked for the change. It wasn't like jerks like you who like.
What types of historians actually pushed for the number to be changed?
The Holocaust historians, anyone that actually, people that were claiming the 6 million number. Right. So this just gave fodder to weak-minded people like these that they can claim that the number was pushed down. But the number 6 million, look it up, never included 4 million Russians. So you can continue to have your conspiracy theories and stupidity, but it's not like any part of reality.
So 1.1 is only Auschwitz.
Only Auschwitz
and Birkenau.
And that's the reason why there is a plaque there that you're referring to.
This is the plaque literally says Auschwitz and Birkenau.
So if you look at toward the end of the war, when the Nazis, that plaque in Auschwitz. Well, if you look towards the end of the war, when the Nazis were losing, instead of using their trains to save Germans, they used their trains to kill Jews, mostly in the Hungarian area, Hungary, Romania, Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia then, because it changed names 6 times. And that area is all Ukraine today. That took about 6 months. So they destroyed all of that Jewry. Not all of them were survivors in about 6 months.
Yeah, wasn't Hitler motivated to do that because he met with what leader in the Middle East, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll give you
the Mufti of Jerusalem." So, but that was, he met the Mufti of Jerusalem in '38. Who exactly designed the final solution is up to debate. But the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem was definitely very happy with Hitler and excited for him to kill as many Jews as possible. So yeah,
because he did have motivation with that.
Yeah, that's all true. But the exporting of those Jews happened in spurts, and for about 4 to 8 months, I forgot the number on it at the time. I memorized it all. They stopped all killings altogether, and they were negotiating with a group. I can't remember the name, but there was a Miriam Fleischer in that group. There was a group of people, some religious Jews and non-religious Jews, and they were negotiating with. I don't think it was Eichmann. I think it was Himmler. And Himmler was saying, if you raise a certain amount of funds, we'll spare the Jews. Now, we know from Nazi records today, that was all a ruse. They were just trying to extort. They never planned on saving any Jews. But during that time, either due to we don't really know, either it was due to this idea going on, or it might have happened anyway. But Eichmann, who was in charge of all those deportations, paused it for a long time. So the point is, if you take the 6 months of killings and extrapolate, you get to the wrong number. Russians did that, because remember, Poland fell under Russia for up until the late 90s. They put up the plaque, not Western historians. Western historians have always maintained it was 1.1 billion at Auschwitz. When Poland got its independence, they changed the plaque to affect reality. This
so why do people still reference the so if they change the individual numbers, why is the total number that everyone referenced still?
Because the total, is he an idiot? Yeah, my answer's yes. The total number of 6 million always included 1.1 in Auschwitz-Birkenau. Always. So it was the Russians.
So they changed it from 4 million to 1 point.
Oh, I can't. He's such an idiot. I really feel bad for you. Yes. Okay. I'll say it one last time. If you don't get it now, then you're too stupid. So just log off. You're too stupid. Sure. 6 million.
Hey, go. Issa, go watch the tweet thread, okay?
I will, but just let him speak because then you ask questions. Just let
I don't need that figure. Always had only 1.1 million at Auschwitz-Birkenau. The Russians came up with the 4 million because the Russians extrapolated and didn't do historical research. Poland fell under Russia from when the Iron Curtain was drawn up until the satellites fell in 1991. Oh, you don't believe that? Yeah,
let's do some basic high school math, okay? So World War One. No, sure.
Wait, you know math?
Hey, no, do you want? No, I'm going to use ChatGPT here. So okay.
Oh, okay.
Right. So how many days between 1st of September 1939, which was the invasion of Poland, if I'm not mistaken, to VE Day, which was the 8th of May in 1945. And it's like 2,000 days, right? So ChatGPT says that it is analyzing, come on, fucking shouldn't take that long, 2,076 days, right? So if it's 1.5 million, right? So 1.5 million.
Ashwood
divided
personnel
by,
is 1.1 million.
Well, the plaque says 1.5, bro. So, like, what is it?
No, it
like,
does.
the estimate just keeps going down. It's amazing.
You are so stupid. It's amazing.
Well, really. So we're going to divide 1.1 now, okay? His fact, right? So we're going to say 1.1 by 2,076. So that's the amount of days from the beginning of the war until the very beginning of the war, which is the most charitable way to do this, right? So that is approximately 500. That's 529. That means that 529 bodies were burned, right, cremated, non-stop, all day, every week of every month for years of the totality of the war.
Probably not per day, but some of the days were more.
It was actually higher. It was up to 2,000.
Okay, so you're saying it's higher than this. Amazing. Watch the tweet thread where there's literally a crematorian fucking specialist who's been responsible for over 1,000 cremations himself. Of course.
And you know it was not just one camp.
There's always an answer. This is held up in court, and there's no fucking answer for it. Okay. You know better. You know better. Okay.
Okay.
You don't even know what I'm referencing. You don't even know
exactly. You think you're the first idiot that said.
Okay, I know.
He does.
It's got nothing to do with the fucking massive money that's involved in it, right? How much
Is this your big out of the Jews? Is this your big out of the Jews? Holy shit.
How much has Germany had to pay survivors of the death camps, right?
How many knocks to the head?
How much have they had to pay
to get this wise?
How much have they had to pay?
Okay, you do know that the Nazis...
How much have they had to pay?
Oh, God. You do know
there's no incentive, right?
You're talking about the crematorium. You know that the Nazis ordered a special crematorium that worked 24 hours straight.
Okay, where are the mountains of coal then? Like, how was it fueled?
Can you please just...
This has all been debunked, bro.
No, but we are trying to have a conversation. We cannot listen to each other.
He can't, because he can't stand up to truth.
Oh, can't stand up to truth?
The troll,
how did they fuel the crematorium then? How did they fuel the crematorium?
Just stop talking when somebody else is talking.
How did they fuel the crematorium?
With gas.
They fueled it with gas.
Correct.
Okay, great.
Okay, great.
Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't know that? I thought you did all the research.
He did. He could coal. You thought they were shoveling
just like the showers or the gas chambers, right? And there's no gaskets on the door, right? And the buildings and the chimney which they used for the crematorium were from brick and mortar, which would not be suitable.
From the showers of cream.
You want to know why there's no gaskets?
You know what? They also used wooden doors. They used wooden doors. Okay.
You know why there's no gaskets on the doors? Because this has been clarified very recent, very early on.
So they thought of a nice little story.
Tim, have you ever visited a concentration camp or a Holocaust museum? Anything like that?
Yeah, no, I saw the swimming pool, bro, which wasn't for the guards. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, the reason why there was
So you went to the camps?
No, or you saw
pictures of them, Tim, from the safety of your stupid home.
Tim hasn't seen anything. The reason there's no gaskets on the doors is because the Nazis burnt the camps down. The Nazis have documented this in their own history.
So if they burnt them down, how is it that they exist?
Oh, good question. That was a replica museum built right after.
Oh, wow.
That's not the original.
Admission. So that's
not the original.
You're admitting that the
what do you think about the Nazis admitting to doing all this?
It's a fantastic point. So
what do you think? But see, what do you think about the Nazis admitting to all of this?
By his own admission, the buildings that stand there today are not those that were there at the time. It's a recreation.
You know what the word replicas is? Google it.
It's a recreation.
Mute up for a minute.
Okay.
Now Google replica.
Okay, great. So is this where you're going to move me to the audience, like the leather?
No, but just nobody wants to move you to the audience.
It's ridiculous.
We just want to be able to speak without you interrupting.
Yeah, Tim, shut up.
Tim, shut up. Tim.
He said, it's fine, I'm going to go this week, because I've actually got some work to do.
Good.
He said, I will just encourage you.
Nobody cares about your guards.
Okay.
Go back to your
Try harder.
Shut up.
Try harder.
Shut up. Tim, you know I love you dearly, but it's very difficult.
Well, I'm not going to do this if there's a fucking constant muting. I'm not going to do this, okay? There's constant fucking muting. I'm not going to fucking do this.
You aren't
No, it's not constant muting. If you just
That's about the fourth time.
Oh,
So.
if you
Now
just
you're
stop talking,
lying.
like Zach, shut up.
Now you're lying.
If you just stop talking when other people are talking, then nobody has to mute you. But you just speak all over the time.
Because it's nonsense.
You see, you're doing it right now. Just you can say that it's nonsense after the person has finished talking. Nobody is censoring you or muting you or moving you to the audience. We want to speak to you. Just take turns, please. Meyer, you were gonna say something.
No, he has like a really old narrative that has been thoroughly debunked. It's not denied by the Nazis. It's not denied by any intelligence historian. This has been investigated. This has been like this is probably one of the most documented pieces of history.
Yeah.
So he asked questions that some of them have like a decent like where the gas came from is a stupid question. He thought it was called, but asking why there's no.
You were talking about the replica thing.
Yes.
Cut you off.
Yeah, so one of the questions that have been asked is if you test the walls, they don't have gas emissions in them. And the reason for that was the Nazis bombed it, they destroyed it. When they were losing the war and they retreated, they destroyed it. What you see today in that one, and I'm trying to remember which one it was, is a replica. So they
how were there any survivors if they bombed it?
All right, that's interrupting. Come on.
Okay,
how if they bombed it?
You were quiet.
If they bombed it, how were there any survivors?
We can hear what they want to say.
Oh my God! I'll answer that question when you're done. So that was one of the stupidest questions I knew.
Okay, that's just a really stupid question. It was so stupid.
It was. Okay,
if
so
it's so stupid, just answer it.
Like you can't
the answer is that the number of survivors. Okay, so we'll jump to that. The number of survivors in Treblinka is about 14. The number of survivors in Sobibor, because they escaped, is about 33. The death camps don't have survivors. They have like tens of survivors. The survivors are from the labor camps. The labor camps weren't bombed. They also didn't have gas. So the whole issue is not part of the labor camps. It's the death camps. Treblinka, Sobibor, a piece of Auschwitz, part of Auschwitz was a holding camp. So there were different camps. So when you say survivors, yeah, there were people that survived the labor camps. Basically, nobody survived the death camps. Basically, nobody, like tens of people. Some people had 33 people because 60 of them escaped and only 33 survived in the woods. So, there weren't survivors. That's the answer. There were not survivors.
That's funny. Germany's paid over 95 billion.
Labor camp survivors, you
Okay.
What does okay mean? This is not even.
It's just amazing that there's just,
on one hand, he is, and he wants to back off of his stupid argument.
Even Holocaust deniers don't deny that there were labor camps and death camps. The fact that you think that you know something and you don't know that, is amazingly stupid. Amazingly stupid. This is not even a good conversation. Some people ask intelligent questions. The gas was an intelligent question. Why is there no gas in the wall? It's a replica. Okay, that's interesting. We didn't know that. But when you start asking about where the survivors
no gas in the doors,
you're just an.
But what about the wooden doors?
What's the point?
What about the wooden doors?
Wait. T. What's the point of you arguing this? What point are you trying to make by saying this, or that it's overblown?
It's a kind of narcissism.
Wait. Let's have a minute.
What's the problem in not discussing something which is question?
No.
Whoa,
we could discuss
this.
Go ahead. The issue is, you are, it's one of the most...
See, if I was questioning Scientology right now, no one would give a fuck, right? The fact everyone gets
stop interrupting me if you ask me a question, okay?
Okay. The fact that if I was questioning Scientology, no one would even
other people are talking. Or don't be annoyed when they tell you that they're trying to talk. Two solutions.
Sure.
Okay. So, as we just discussed, this is extremely documented, right? This genocide.
Yeah.
There are videos.
There's lots of movies about it too.
The Americans talk about it. The Germans talk about it. The Russians talk about it.
Really?
So why?
It's hilarious.
The
British.
You're not allowed to
No. The British were the Enigma code, which the Germans were not aware. Okay, and every night these camps reported 4 numbers: the number of people in, the number of people out, the number of deaths, and shut the fuck up. They report 4 numbers every night. Okay.
Spices, inflammatory things.
Okay. It doesn't matter. Like,
Dude,
you know,
we
20
have
million
let
people
him
died.
speak.
You
20
don't
million people
matter.
died.
You have
Shut
to
100
let
million
us
people
speak.
died.
You talk about the
You know,
1.5, the
it's ridiculous.
1.1, the 4 million,
No, no,
the plaque, and all of this. But when people try to respond to your claims, you don't let them speak. So this is then a non-stop nonsense.
Okay.
So
It's
can you
non-stop
please
nonsense.
just let people respond, or people ask you questions, and then you can respond. Nobody is trying to prevent you here from.
I think that's exactly what's actually happened. But it's okay. I
No,
get it, 'cause
nobody
that's
is
the...
preventing you from speaking. Just
Okay.
have a back and forth, not an over and over. Like
Really, I'm trying to make the point about how every single night, every single one of these camps reported 4 numbers. They reported the number of people in, the number of people out, the number of deaths, and the total head count. They did this not knowing that the British were listening. And in the German records and in the British archives, none of which talk about the numbers of deaths in which apparently happened. How could that be explained?
Okay, so
now.
let's just stop for a second. You're not going to convince us who are...
Sure, exactly. You will not be convinced.
Stop,
That's it.
Tim.
Amazing.
Let us speak. Let us fucking speak, okay?
Get the tampon out of your pussy. Come on.
Does not matter
Can
what
I
he
at least
said.
say something? So we are all, most of us are Jewish people here. You're not going to convince a Jew.
Exactly, that's the point.
Didn't happen because we all had family members that were killed, including me. Okay.
Okay.
We've all had family members that were killed. So you're not going to convince
Sure,
us.
most of them died from typhus.
than you have, Tim.
Most of them died from
Why are
typhus.
you arguing this? What's your point? What's your point? What are you trying to argue?
Truth is
Why
important.
are you trying to
Truth
debate
is
Jewish
important.
people? What's the point?
Man,
Truth
he
is
believes
important.
like all Jews.
Okay, you want to hear
are
what
like-
happened to my great grandfather in Germany in World
Truth
War
is
One?
important.
Do you care about the truth of my great grandfather, Hugo?
What about my great uncle in
Sure,
Germany?
tell maybe. Like,
Yeah, sure. He
Auschwitz,
served
that's
Germany
a
in World
lie.
War One. He had a bum leg. They had to throw him on the back of a truck. I have a report in German, published by Germany, that investigated the Jewish families from the town. My grandfather, actually, I saw this after he died. He underlined in pencil the very words where they picked him up and threw him on the back of a truck. That happened. I don't know what you're like studying and researching, but it doesn't sound like you're all that interested in truth.
Really?
Yeah.
So one case of
What
something
happened to him? What happened to my great grandfather Hugo?
How am I meant to know about what happened individually to your?
You're telling all of us what happened during World War II.
I'm not telling you what happened to one individual.
I know what happened.
I'm actually.
He went to a death camp, Treblinka, I think.
Sure.
But according to you, there were no deaths there. So then where is...
I'm not... No, I never said there was no deaths. That's not what I said at all. I said actually the majority of these deaths were through typhus. That's even what Anne Frank died of, if I'm not mistaken.
Through typhus? What
did she not die from typhus? What did she die from?
Stop. At the beginning of the Holocaust, over 1 million Jews were killed by the Nazis shooting and mass burying Jews as they came across East, or as they invaded.
Really?
Russia.
So where are these mass graves then?
By typhoid?
Where are the mass graves?
What?
Where are these mass graves?
Okay, let me say before.
Google this for
they
you.
weren't
You're
separated,
asking
and so how can you count them?
No,
You
you
were the
said
one
they were
that
shot. Sorry, maybe I was mistaken, or maybe I misheard you. You said that a great number of them. What was the word you used?
You're contradicting yourself right now.
What's your question?
I wasn't even looking at my phone. Someone was saying at the beginning of the war the Jews were shot. Something. I was asking to repeat himself.
Over 1 million Jews were killed by Nazi soldiers shooting them and burying them.
Okay.
So you
where are they then? If there were these graves
in Eastern Europe, in Russia, where they invaded. That's your answer.
You realize, like, to this day, they're still uncovering mass graves. Like, it's not like they tracked every mass.
Yeah, like, Tim, is this a weird fetish where you want to be embarrassed in front of strangers or something?
Yeah, because I'm clearly acting embarrassed.
Hey, Tim, this isn't Pride Month any longer, okay?
Oh, yeah? In public record office document FO 371/34551 dated August 27th, 1943.
Just tell us the point.
How about shut the fuck up and listen?
Oh my God.
all
Oh
right.
my gosh, you fucking idiot.
Victor Cavendish Bentic head of the British Psychological Warfare Executive, admitted that there was not the slightest evidence that gas chambers existed and that such tales of their alleged existence were employed solely for propaganda purposes. I literally told you, Public Record Office document. This is a British document. FO 371/34551 dated. Oh, I'm reading it out loud for the love of God. Hey, Joe, it's fine. You just don't want to know. That's fine. Just, it's so comfortable to continue to believe everything you've always been told. Okay? So that's fine. You just don't want to know. That's actually the fucking truth.
Oh yeah,
and
okay,
just like
you're right.
most people, and listen, do you think it's the first time? Do you think it's the first time this conversation's been had, and then people fucking like
such a fucking retard.
Okay, okay.
You look like an idiot.
For sure. That's it. Okay. Literally, like, head of the British Psychological fucking Warfare Executive is saying that it was a fucking propaganda. And, you know, we had a good run with it. We've had a good run for our money with this gas chamber story we have been putting out about. But don't we run the risk of eventually going to be found out that when we are found out the collapse of that lie is going to bring the whole of our psychological warfare with it? So isn't it rather time now to let it adrift off by itself and concentrate on some other lines that we are running? End of quote. No, this doesn't happen. This is an internal fucking British communication. That is not something that can be referenced by anyone if they want to look up the fucking archives.
But dude, there's like thousands of people that saw
Okay, there's always a fucking reason, but you bring some fucking facts to the matter.
But there's one report and then thousands
Tim,
of people.
have you ever heard of confirmation bias, Tim?
Sure. What's
I
bias?
have heard of confirmation bias.
That surely this would be facts now.
Yes or
Is it
no?
not evidence?
Have you heard of confirmation bias? It was a yes or no question.
Is it not evidence?
Do you understand what
Is it not
confirmation bias
evidence?
is?
See, is it
Tim,
just because you don't
you're
like it, you
answering
can
my
dismiss
question
it?
with the question. It's a yes or no. Do you
How is
know
it a
what
bias?
confirmation bias
How is it a? You see, to have a confirmation
Yes or
bias.
no? I could explain it to you.
No,
if you want to plead ignorance,
I
that's
understand.
fine.
Michael, just
To have a confirmation bias,
Clearly, you've
not
got
just
some
believe
kick about being
something.
ignorant in front of a lot of people.
Okay, you say that like I meant to give a
Do
fuck.
you know what confirmation bias is, Tim?
To have a confirmation bias, I would have had to have believed something in advance.
Right.
Sure.
Correct.
Sure.
So, did you believe that the numbers were overblown before you found this secret British communique, or after?
No, this was part of this was one of the things that it was.
No, but
very
he
influential.
believes that the Jews are twisting his arm for him to leave his mom alone and not.
Yeah, that's exactly. What the fuck is this bullshit? You see, like this is some
Dude,
bullshit.
you said it yourself. You said
No,
that
that's not what the fuck I said.
You said that it's the Jews
Isa,
disintegrating the families.
right.
And I'm asking you, why don't you leave
Oh
with
my
your
god,
mom?
every fucking aspect of degeneracy today is Jewish. That's what the fuck I said. Including the breakdown of the nuclear family, including transgenderism.
Move them down. Can we move them down?
Sure. Move me down. Because what books was it that the Nazis burnt?
Dude, you just
no, answer the question. What books? Because no one likes to ask. What were the books that the Nazis burnt?
Tell us. Let's see what.
Does anyone know?
Okay, fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Does anyone know?
All of your wisdom.
Yeah, you're so smart. Come on, tell us. Choose.
It was trans ideology.
No, does anyone not know about the gender clinic?
I know about it. I've read about it. I know.
Oh, okay, so then tell me, so that I'm apparently, it's not just my selective.
We know you're a white.
I'm bringing my own facts. It's something else. He says he knows.
Question. We're giving
He knows all about it.
So a fucking red carpet.
Should we go through the whole list of books that were burned by the Nazis? Like, do you want them all? Like Hemingway, like H.G.
Well,
Wells.
Tim says he's got the list. Tim, please.
Do you want Karl Marx, who's Jewish, by the way? So it's like Engels. Both books were burned. Like, which ones do you want?
The Institute for, I don't know, this is in fucking German, I can't pronounce it.
So you don't have any answer to your rhetorical question?
Was an early private psychology research institute from Germany in 1919 to 1933. The name is variously translated as an Institute for Sexual Research, or the Institute of Sexology. This institute was a non-profit, blah, 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 blah. It was founded by Magnus Hirschfeld. Magnus Hirschfeld was a Jewish-German physician and sexologist whose citizenship was later revoked by the Nazi government. Amazing. It's funny how they went on to burn all of his fucking books.
So when you ask what books
so
were
the
burned,
earliest,
so
is this not the first person to use the word transgender?
This guy's literally a white supremacist.
Was this not the first person to use the word transgender?
The funny part is the white supremacist.
Who said anything about being white
Brian,
supremacist?
he also hates women.
I love that. That's pretty in line with being a white supremacist, I would imagine, to be fair.
No, it's not white
But the funny
supremacy.
part is
The
white
first
supremacists-
transgender clinic.
And he beats his dog too. He beats his dog. Don't forget that.
And by the way, the white supremacists
If
don't
no
even
one,
accept
if
you.
no one wants to know, you can look at it. There's the Wikipedia article. Okay, it's the
No,
first
yeah,
transgender.
it's not a book. I was aware of this being a
For
book.
sure.
And then,
So
and then they killed all the people because they were Nazis. They dragged them to the streets and killed them all.
okay, so it
I'm well
wasn't.
aware of it.
Hey, you all know, but you all have no problem with it. It's no problem. Okay.
Do I? No, I like when Nazis.
And
No, I
everything
actually like
today,
when Nazis burn
you know.
down buildings and kill the people inside. We like it. No problem with that at all. Is that
Yeah, I wish
so,
they killed my entire family, not just my great uncle, right?
Is that what you want?
That's what I wish.
Is that what you're advocating? That Nazis should come back and start burning down buildings and like torching gay bars?
No, what I'm actually stating is that there's a certain community which absolutely advocates for degeneracy. Like every single aspect.
You're not a community. You're just
okay.
a loser.
See if you actually.
He's just a troll.
Every single aspect.
You mean the incel community?
Every single aspect of the Pornography Institute is Jewish.
Exactly.
Every
incel
It's Jewish.
community.
Every
Everything.
aspect.
Yeah. Who owns Pornhub?
Then how come they have all these
Who
different
owns Pornhub?
It's
Who
funny.
owns Pornhub?
It's actually funny.
That's not true. The porn stars are not Jewish.
Look them up.
The porn stars aren't Jewish, Tim. Every aspect of the porn industry isn't Jewish. Naomi Marcella is not Jewish.
Yeah.
My favorite porn stars are all Asian.
So who owns Pornhub, right? Who owns
It's not owned by him.
Jews. No, Jews only own everything.
Don't look it up, and it's Christians, Muslims.
Oh yeah.
No, he's talking about the one investor from Canada.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about the founder of Grindr. I'm talking about the founder of Wicked Video.
So
I'm talking about fucking
okay,
the founder of Sex.com and Match.com.
Okay, so like Match.com. Awful.
Oh yeah, Match.com.
Awful.
Really bad.
Match.com.
Hey, great. Keep muting me.
Is it only
It's fine. You don't want to know. Just keep going with your fucking degeneracy.
No, T, I'm going to tell you the real information.
You know, that's okay.
There was a time. No, T,
Yeah, okay. Go fuck yourself.
There was
All
a
right, go fuck
time.
yourself.
See, you're a fucking retard. You should kill yourself.
No, I'm going to
Keep muting me. Okay, go fuck yourself.
Go kill
There was
yourself.
a time that nobody in the West wanted to see porn, and the Jews forced them into it and put eye drops in them and forced them to watch it until they got addicted. No one wanted it. They were like, "Don't give us this thing." And it was only the Jews that got people to start watching porn. I remember watching it happen. It was so cool.
Like Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, that was Jews. Those were Jews, by the way.
I don't think that was written by Jews.
Okay, I am looking about Pornhub and it doesn't say anything about Jews. It says that Pornhub is owned by MindGeek. MindGeek, who is main offices headquartered in Luxembourg. It's headquartered in Luxembourg with its main offices in Montreal, in Canada. Then I asked about MindGeek, and it says the owner of Pornhub is a private company, and its ownership structure is somewhat opaque. However, it has been reported that the company was co-founded by Fabian Thielmann, a German entrepreneur, although he sold his stake in the company in 2013. And I asked, what is the religion of Thielmann? And it says that, basically that he's atheist and that there is no information about his religion. But it started, saying the curriculum of this guy, that he's studying in software and he's from Germany and he went to this school and that and whatever. But it has nothing to do with...
Oh no, I found an article that people throw around. Rabbi on Pornhub, and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, he's not the owner. He's a VP, and he defended.
He was a VP of a hedge fund that invested in
Pornhub, and he basically said that I'm in commerce and I do business, and it happens to be this company, it's Pornhub. And that is enough for T to say that the Jews started the porn industry.
Correct, exactly.
With a confirmation bias.
That was fucking crazy.
It's beyond confirmation
Yeah, he's not.
Hey, is this Al guy a troll? His name's Al Oscar.
Yes.
Al, are you going to say anything? Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I've been trolling here and there. Maybe you didn't hear me.
See?
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so
This is what happens when you watch or you read
Tim left.
too much Jake Shields and too much Syrian Girl on fucking X. It's like the stupidest fucking. Yeah, it's the stupidest conspiracy theories. It's just like I can't even like. I've looked into them myself, and they're so dumb and so fucking shallow. Like, there's no like depth to it, and they're so easily disproven. It's crazy how dumb this.
People used to think we were in the information age, but we're not really. We're in a media age, which is to say that we get information and misinformation. All of these crazy conspiracy theories, mostly the role they're serving in the modern era is as a litmus test for critical thinking.
You know what the problem is also, like, okay, and we were talking about the red pill earlier today, and I think that the red pill movement, as I was saying before, it came kind of like an antidote, to all these like zombie-like people that just would take anything from the media, and actually got people to question things, And I am someone that likes the conspiracy theories, in the sense that it challenges your brain, it challenges your mind, and it makes you curious about something, and then you look for it, and there are actually interesting facts that you could be like, oh my god, I mean, history is full of conspiracy theories. And so the red pill came to like, okay, all of these new way of discussing topics, of having freedom of speech, of intellectual conversations. But then what happened is that, so people that didn't like that started the canceling stuff. So the red pill became even stronger, and it's like, oh, you see, now we're talking about the truth and these people want to cancel us. So we went from a phase of like, let's say, censoring, to a phase where just anything is allowed and any type of information is out there. So it's kind of like a contrast, because on one hand we had censoring, but now we have so much information that the truth is completely drowned in all of the information that is out there. And so anything that you see out there, they take it as facts, and people don't try to make the connections or make the wrong connections. Just as you were saying, like that, the fucking confirmation bias, which I hate that term, by the way, because I think it's like very woke. But it is a fact. Like, when you think something, and if, for example, if your primary statement or foundation is the Jews control the world, then anything you find that actually confirms that first thought, then you take it as a truth. It's like, oh, you see, we got another thing, and it's just never ending. And then people just go,
Right. In fact, like Mayor was saying before, that it's one of the most documented events in history, and it is. But that's what I'm saying. Like, we're in a media age, not an information age. Even though we documented all of those things, and that's right for information, that's also right for misstatements, mischaracterizations, things that are overblown, things that seem unbelievable, and all of that is just fodder to just connect the dots in the way you want in a misinformation campaign. So it's like the war in Ukraine, Russia. We're still not sure exactly who's right. There's a ton of misinformation coming from both sides, and neither of them is legitimate. Is Taiwan separate from China? Really depends on how you look at things. We would like to think that because the printing press and now the internet has made anyone have access, we are all led to believe we know things that are not true.
Yeah, China and Taiwan are obviously separate. They're just a renegade province. Yeah, but they obviously have a different economy. Yeah, renegade province.
Yeah, renegades push World War II.
49, when they lost the Civil War, they retreated to Taipei.
Yep.
And what is it called? Formosa? The island was called Formosa before that.
Yeah, and China still is a part of China, and they're not like totally wrong. They have a legitimate perspective.
Well, defensive weapons to them, but there's only one Chinese government.
Even when it comes up with like this kind of like very kind of like exchange data and say, okay, well, so why are they saying this? Oh wait, I read this here, so what do you think they're saying that? It can become a good intellectual exercise, even if you do not agree, even if you're not going to change each other's mind. But what drives me nuts is when people just come trying to be right, and they're just not letting other people talk. That's what drives me crazy. And it's a pity because it seems like he has got certain arguments, might be stupid, but it could be interesting for him to be able to say it, which he actually was able to, but he didn't want to hear any response. He didn't want
He's
to.
insecure about the knowledge he has. That's why he can't share it politely.
Yeah,
he
but
can argue with all of us.
He who-
He does know stuff that we don't
Sorry,
know,
Miss
but he's
Key.
This guy
too obsessed with his own position. And like how everyone disagrees with him, that makes his knowledge all
That's a
the more
proof. That's a proof that you control the world.
Yeah, but he hates Jews, man, because he went on Congressman the other night and it was like really fucking disgusting. And I ended up shouting at him because I was like, what the fuck are you saying?
But it's what I was saying. It's not only the Jews. It's Jews.
Yeah, really. He
it's
talks
women.
like that about everything.
Hold on. It's Jews. It's women. It's blacks. And this is what drives me crazy because it's just such a simplistic approach. And I have, you guys know Jacques, right?
He's a troll.
Yeah, well, so
Engaged.
Jacques, I used to hang
Hey,
out
can you
with
get this
him, but
Othello guy? He's a retard. Othello, you won't come up here. I think you're a retard.
who?
I don't know who he is.
Look, check the chat.
Who is it?
He's just saying the same thing as the key guy.
Othello?
Yeah, he usually is in this room. He just must
Yeah,
not be
but
able
he's
to talk.
usually in the room and he bashes me and whatever. He just says whatever he wants. Anyway, so Jacques was one of the persons that I used to hang out with, on a frequent basis, and we would talk about a lot of stuff. But inevitably, every single time, the conversation to the Jews and to women. Jesus Christ, Maya, are you okay?
Yeah, there's a crosswind that's making the door slam. It's like I'm far away from it. It just makes a bang.
Sounded like someone got shot.
Exactly. I was like, shit.
You said it's key in the room?
It sounded like a shot.
No, it's the door. I have to leave in a minute. No, it's for some reason the outer door is open today because we were doing something, so it's making a crosswind, and then this door just slams.
Okay. Well, so what I used to tell them, because it's impossible to have a conversation based in arguments or asking questions because they're gonna get like this, super energy charged. So I got to a point, just the conclusion I got, and I used to tell them that it's like, okay, if today at 12 at midnight the Jews disappeared, the women disappeared, or the women that they don't like disappeared,
and the gays,
and the blacks disappeared from the face of earth, and tomorrow you wake up and it's only white men with very submissive women, you would still be miserable because your misery is not fault of all these groups of people that you're trying to blame. That you're miserable because you're not good enough, dude. You're complaining about other people controlling your life. Are you so weak that other people are controlling your life? Are you even so dumb that you think that you cannot do something on your own because otherwise all other people are pushing you down? Like, what kind of weak man, are you? It's lame.
He probably has a really tiny penis.
I said that to him.
What, the penis?
No, that part I didn't say. I said to him that you ever feel stupid that you get manipulated by such cute? And he's like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, what's preventing you from becoming more intelligent? Start reading every week.
The 0.2% of the population that makes up the Jew.
Dude, but Maxad, all of this is not magic. It's not that you guys are magicians, and all of a sudden you're controlling the world.
That was an old joke.
No, it's true. It's true that you guys might be overrepresented in places, and so what? There is nuance.